Well, the latest installment of the state capture report says Bosasa had no shame in engaging in corruption. Among others, the company is alleged to have received tenders worth 1.8 billion rand from the Department of Correctional Services. Now, COPE spokesperson Dennis Bloem says one of those contracts, which was for catering in prisons, may have been a money laundering scheme. He joins us now to discuss this further. We're also joined by political economy expert Dr. Mckinley. To both of our guests, thanks very much for your time. Dennis, I want to begin with you this morning because it must be, as a whistleblower yourself, around specifically Bosasa and its dealings with the Department of Correctional Services. What was it like seeing this part of the state capture report outlining just exactly how far the rot went?
I must tell you that it vindicates some of us, like myself, who was pointing out this rot long before it became fashionable, because I exposed these things in Parliament when I was the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Correctional Services. But people did not want to listen to what I have said. So I am not surprised that this thing came and this report was now tabled by Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo. It's not a surprise to me, but I am saying that I am vindicated, that I went to the Zondo Commission to go and back up what Anglo Agrisi have said, that there was corruption between the ANC government and the Bosasa, because Bosasa was the boss when it comes to tenders and contracts within the Department of Correctional Services.
Yeah, and that
now,
certainly is...
the truth has come out.
Yes, certainly. It is what's been outlined in this third part of the state capture inquiry report. In fact, Dr. Mckinley, let's bring you into the discussion. The report goes as far as to say not only did the ANC know about the corruption insofar as Bosasa is concerned, but it says key members of the governing party and the governing party itself were instrumental in the state capture years.
Absolutely. I think that what you see in this report is the Zondo Commission report says it happened on an industrial scale. That's their words. So if you look at it, it's across the board. It's even though the numbers in terms of the amount of money involved is less than what the Guptas were, the spread is greater. So the Watsons and Bosasa had their hands in so many different pies. And I think what's quite astounding about this is that in the vast majority of cases, this revolved around just essentially exchange of money to particular individuals. This was a classic case of here's the bribe, do the favor, get the tender, influence this, influence that. And so it's a much more specifically targeting of particular individuals. I think the Zondo report says there were over 80 people on the payroll of Bosasa at any particular one time. So we're just getting a slice of this for some of the big fish which have been named. But there's clearly, that's the tip of the iceberg. I think clearly what is below that is an enterprise that sort of spread its tentacles very widely across a lot of different government departments. And it reveals that how easy actually it was for somebody with a bunch of money, some political connections, to essentially corrupt a large section of the government and very, very senior officials, obviously all the way up to the ex-president. With
very little oversight. Dennis Bloem, you outlined to Parliament when you were in charge of that Parliamentary Committee on Correctional Services what you thought was happening between Bosasa and the Department of Correctional Services. It brings into question again the issue of parliamentary oversight, how desperately it failed during the state capture years.
Michelle, there is, I don't know now, but there is no oversight when it comes to the ANC caucus. When the minister of a department is part and parcel of that study group, how do you expect that people will do oversight? You must remember, Michelle, that the ANC in each and every committee are the majority. So, with other words, all the small parties don't have any power within a portfolio committee. They can raise their voice. I was a chairperson. I know what I'm talking about, Michelle. And there is no power for the smaller parties. But unfortunately or fortunately, with me, all these other political parties were having a say. That's why the Portfolio Committee on Correctional Services from 2005 to 2009 was the most effective portfolio committee in Parliament, because we were working like a unit. We were there to serve the people of South Africa,
Dennis,
the voters.
Certainly. I think your point is incredibly well made, Dennis. As we wrap up our conversation, unfortunately, gentlemen, we are running short of time. Dr. Dale Mckinley, of course, the reaction to the report from the people implicated, Gwede Mantashe is among them, Nomvula Mokonyane, the former President Jacob Zuma as well. Gwede Mantashe, in his address yesterday, his address to the media, saying he will take parts of the report on judicial review. He said a whole range of other things. But for those who have suffered the effects of state capture, you know, for those who thought the findings from the state capture inquiry would pave a solid way forward insofar as holding those accountable for the state capture years, is that being undone in many ways?
No, I don't think so. I think that we must expect. I mean, if you look at what the Zondo report says in this case, it says there are reasonable grounds for prosecution. He says on the balance of evidence there is a prima facie case. What does that mean? It means there's more work to be done. There's more digging to be done, and to create a case that I think is strong. So I think, given what's going on to NPA, we're seeing greater capacitation. I think that people have a right to push this and say we want things to happen fairly soon. But I think in the context of where we're going with this, we need to say, you know, this is coming. If we don't get the big fish right now, well, maybe a little further down the road. But I think also that the public is seeing through the Stalingrad strategies, the excuses, the lack of responsibility and everything. So the longer this goes on, the less legitimacy people like Gwede Mantashe and others were going to have, because I think people now are so fed up with all the excuses and all the rationalizations. The evidence is overwhelming. The question is, let's put it together in a package, let the NPA take it, and let's see those prosecutions. I think they're coming. They might be coming a bit slower than we want to, but I think we're on the way in this case, and we have come some way from where we were 2 or 3 years ago, that's for sure. So there has been some progress. It's slow, but I think those who have been affected have some light at the end of the tunnel.
Dr. Dale Mckinley is a political economy expert. Also joining us on this discussion is whistleblower and COPE spokesperson Dennis Bloem. To both of our guests, thanks very much indeed for your time. Thank you.